Hello, everyone. Sorry, we're getting started a little bit late here, but welcome once again to our monthly COGG Let's Play. I am Caleb. I am joined by Scott and Wes, and our two guest stars. We'll call them stars, Chase and David, who are the developers of the game that we are going to look at today. So, as always, COGG is the Central Ohio Game Developers Group. We are a group from Central Ohio dedicated to working with lots of game developers, from the professional to the amateur, and just building a community of people working together to better ourselves and share the love of building games together. So
Nice.
today, we are continuing our community Let's Play edition. So highlighting games made by people in our community. So last month we did a Sprout, which Scott and I had a ton of fun running through together. We had an epic race. We had an epic race. And who won, Scott? Who won?
I only remembered how much fun it was because I won that race.
Yes, I got stuck at like the second to last or like the last
You did,
level.
yeah.
I got there way before you did, and I just could not get past it. It was awesome. Yes, so we're hoping that we can maybe have that one up at a prototype and play for people to try to challenge each other's top scores or something on. So whenever we can get prototype and play back in person again, because. But anyway, moving forward.
Anyway.
Yeah, anyway, moving forwards. We are joined, as I said, by Chase and David, and we are going to transition the screen into here. So we are going to be playing today Forge Quest. Aha! Questing, forges, or forging quests. Wait, quests? I'm not really sure how that came out. Yes, so Open Realms is the name. I got that correct, right?
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, so this was a game released in May, the 22nd of May, at least on Steam, on the 22nd of May of 2015. I remember the first time I ever encountered this game was at GDEX. Or would that have been... That was OGDE, wasn't it? Was that the last year that it was OGDE? I'm pretty sure.
The first year we showed it off was when it was still at the Ohio State campus. It was just like in one of the, I think it was like an athletic hall or something.
You're right,
Yeah.
it was, and that was the last year it was OGDE. That's right, yep.
Well, no, because the last OGDE was in, because that was the one I was at, which was in the, what's the science
COSI.
center? COSI. There we
It was
go.
at COSI. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's
It
right.
was the first year at COSI, I think, maybe?
Yep.
So
I think so. I think
you
you're
all
right,
may
yeah.
have shown it a year ahead of time?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
But it had not been released yet, no.
Right. So that tracks then. Yeah, great. But yeah, I met both you guys, and I saw Forge Quest, and you had like the big corner booth, if I recall correctly. and
Yeah, we did.
we
We fought real hard for that one.
It was so much fun. I mean, it had this attractive appeal. People were loving it and playing it, and I have played it and really enjoyed it. So it was really fun to dive into it. Just kind of like as an opening question, how was that process of getting to show off your game after you had put it out there for people?
Well, so by the time we actually released it, I don't think it was that bad because we actually had like 2 GDEXs under our belt before it actually released. So it didn't actually feel bad. Like, I don't think it was any different after it had been released. I think leading up to that was always more tenuous because the state was in a state of like, not complete, and we weren't entirely sure what to show, and we're fixing bugs right before the event. Whereas, once it's released, it's like, oh, well, we just take the setup and we put it there and it's all done, and
Oh, true.
we just talk about it.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, when the showing was at OSU, we were still in development. When we had moved to COSI for the first year at COSI, that was when we had just right before early access. That was like a month before early access, and then the year after that is when it was actually live at that point.
That's gotta be such a cool feeling.
That is cool.
Launching a game.
So follow-up question on that is something we get a lot of times when we encourage people to go to shows and showcase their game in development. We get a lot of pushback of, I'm not really finished yet. I have to wait until it's a finished product. Did you have any of that feeling, or were you more confident? And also, did you encounter any bugs? I'm going to guess the answer is yes, because that always happens during the show.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm sure we did. I can't think of any like there wasn't any mission critical ones. I think that we definitely
right.
It was actually interesting because so I guess stepping back to answer your question, yeah, like I absolutely agree that you should take out your game and show it to people in that sort of a setting, even if it's not complete. Obviously,
Right.
you need like a small polished experience for people to play. Like if it's obviously you don't need the whole game done, but if you have something to show, it's really valuable because especially with, I assume other people will find this as well, but like when you're working on a game, you're so narrow focused on what you're working on and getting it accomplished that you can't really see what other people see, which is just the naked, I'm presenting this game, this is what it is, these are the choices that I've made. And, it's pretty easy for people to come to conclusions about like, do they like it? How does it feel? I relate it to like, wine or any sort of food. It's, I'm not a wine connoisseur, but I know, if I taste a wine, I know that I like it. And I think a lot of people are like that with games, is they don't know all of the secret sauce that goes into a game, but when they feel one, they can instantly tell if they're going to like it or not. And I think that you need that sort of raw feedback from people, especially at the early process of the game. Because if you're already at the end point of where it's complete, and people get it in their hands and they're just like, it's kind of clunky, like I wish these things didn't work that way, and it's like, well, it's already too late. You're already at the tail end of the game unless you're going to put more work into it.
Right.
So
Exactly.
yeah, no, I think it was super critical for us to do that. We did find a few bugs here and there during our presentations, and we had like a pad of paper that we wrote them down on, but nothing like major that got hit. Thankfully, we had a number of we were able to reset the computers or just reset the because I think once or twice like the networking got messed up, and so we were able to do that pretty quickly in between sets of people coming by. But overall, it worked pretty well.
Nice. That's cool. And I like your analogy of the tasting of wine, right? You know what you like, but you don't know exactly how that gets made or what exactly you like about it. Like, do you like tannin flavors or do you not? Right? I have no idea what that means.
Yeah, I don't, no clue. And that's the thing. Like, if you sit with a bunch of game designers, like people can sit and argue about game design all the time. But the thing is that the typical player isn't thinking about that, nor should they. They're they just want to go in. I want an experience. It's like a movie. I don't know about different, camera shots. I don't know about, any particular techniques. But I can come out of a movie and be like, I like that movie or I didn't like that movie. And
exactly, yeah.
It's your job as a designer to, figure out what that is, but it's also to present it in a way where, people don't have to think about it. So,
yep. Very cool.
So just to kind of get a bit of context, like Chase and Dave, like what is your role in this game? In terms of developing this, and then also like who were your target audiences? Like, I guess just to kind of give a little bit of a sneak peek of what the beginnings of this kind of nailed down.
So I wouldn't say that there were any particular roles. With two people, you don't have roles. I mean, you can. I've seen teams where it's been broken up between like an artist and a programmer. But we were both software engineers beforehand, so we both put our good amount of work into doing the actual engineering of the game. I think the only real separation is the art side, which is I ended up taking care of as well, because that had just been my forte. But as far as the engineering work, like we split up a number of the tasks, and that was not really on any particular expertise. That was just on a hey, who wants to champion this particular feature. But I think with indie game development, you have to play all roles. You do.
Right.
Like you.
Well, that's what's so unique about this game is I think that a lot of even our community says like, hey, I'm an artist, I can't really do art, or I'm not going to be really great at it. It's going to be like chicken scratch stuff. And honestly, that's okay. I mean, it's, not saying that it's going to be chicken scratch, but like you can do a lot. And what was unique about this game that I thought was really fascinating is that it's all procedurally based in some instance, but you could also build in physical. Like you guys made a system that you can build in your concepts, and everything's basically like, as you can see here, like little cubes and stuff, which we'll go into once we start to play the game. But that's what was really cool, is you work with what you're really good at, and you push that, and then other things will start to follow. And so that's why I really thought was really fascinating about the type of game this was, and the build that you both have teamed up to kind of create. So.
No, I mean that's absolutely right. It's when you're faced with like creativity. I forgot the exact quote, but it's creativity comes out of constraints, where it's not. If you have unlimited freedom, you basically are going to ad nauseum just come up with ideas, and you're never actually going to reach a conclusion. Creativity comes out of constraints when you have walls in the way. It's one of the reasons, like with old movies, like people always talk about how downfall of like good old like practical props, and it's because back in the day, it's like movie directors they were limited by what they could do, so they had to really rely on techniques to make something interesting. And I think that the same thing happened here, where we had never built a game before. We had some artistic talent, but not a whole lot. I wanted to make a 3D game. I didn't want to go 2D, but I wasn't a 3D modeler, so I wasn't going to be able to make models for everything. And so we found something that worked within our limitations, and then we just championed that. And I think that we came up with something unique because of it.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, you built the whole game, like engine and all, right? The whole thing was all.
Yeah, the game in total took about 5 years to develop, because we had built. This was when we started. We'd started about 2011, a little bit beforehand, because some of the code had come from a different project. But yeah, back then, like Unity existed, but not really. Like it wasn't very popular. There was Torque Engine and Ogre 3D and all that sort of stuff. And so I had come from previously learning about how to make engines, and so I already had some scaffolding, and we were kind of crazy and decided just to like, hey, let's do our own engine. And a lot of the development of this game was making the engine work, not necessarily the game itself. But yeah, like a lot of pretty much everything in here like is built from the software side forward, opposed to like from using like importing creator tools and all that sort of stuff.
Well, awesome. Let's actually get to the game. Fingers crossed that works. I think it works.
Yep. Got you on live. Yep,
awesome.
You're good.
Awesome. Very, very cool. Oh. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start. I'm just going to go briefly through the character creation process, just to show that process, show a tiny bit of the tutorial. You have to go through the tutorial in its entirety every time you create a new character. So we're going to do just a snippet of that just to show off the game. And then we're going to go back here. I'll use a character I've already created, and we're going to have Scott, Wes, and Chase. It's a 4-player multiplayer, so we're gonna try and get all 4 of us in here together and see if we can't conquer together. So let's go ahead and make a new character here.
Why is it every time we do one of these streams we push something to the limit?
Like, no, we gotta do it
as much
as possible. That's why
I'm excited.
We've talked before about a lot of streamers just have themselves on the one stream, and that's significantly simpler to just have one person than to try to bring people in from 4 different locations via Discord and come together to do stuff.
Right.
Not that
especially since those people also have like one other person monitoring and doing everything, and they're just playing the game, right?
yeah, right.
Not with us.
Yeah, a lot of them have like actually somebody behind the camera and setups and stuff. Anyway.
Yeah,
we are Getting into it. Okay, here we go. So, as with any good character, it starts with a name. Let's go with one. Let's see. Can I click?
I think you can type using your keyboard.
I'm gonna call 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, okay. Keyboard controls for this. Okay, great. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. I am not going to be a hardcore person.
Hardcore mode, yes.
Okay, so we've got. All right, so we have five base class types. So we have.
I love the little dance
It's great.
that they do.
We have primary weapon, secondary weapon, an armor, and first ability. So we can kind of pick which one. I actually really do like the throwing damage. Still would be interesting. Bow's always good. I like ninja. Let's go with ninja. Have different looks. Great.
Very cool.
Yeah, so are these sort of different pieces that are being kind of combined on the fly together?
Yep. Since we don't actually end up using any like skinned meshes in here. All of it is just pieces thrown onto a bone at like 100% weight. So we were able to very easily do things like, just change the head entirely, which was really nice because you could do these super easy customizations of just swapping parts out.
All right, once you create your character, it does the whole procedural generation of everything. Steps reach my destiny. Awesome. Nice, simple tutorial. So we talk about tutorials a lot on these Let's Plays because tutorials are super critical because they are how your player learns to interface with the game. And that was just a nice, brief WASD key movement combined with a mouse pointer movement. Obviously, I'm using the mouse and keyboard. This is controller compatible. I think, Scott, you're playing with the controller, right?
I will be playing with the controller. Yes, that's right.
Yeah. If it detects a controller, it will change as well, as to like how to do the movement.
Awesome. Ooh,
And a quick intro of. Ooh, nice. Now, see, you're jumping ahead. You're
no. Here we go. So we got skeletons. Attack primary, attack secondary. So this is the big sword thrusty thing. Nice range, which has that nice little homing. That's probably like a 20 degree home.
Yeah, about.
Homing.
Yeah.
Look at those damage points too that you're doing.
Yes, like not quite over 9,000, but not far off.
So, Chase or David, what's the difference between hardcore and normal mode? I'm kind of curious.
The difference is that in hardcore mode, if your character dies, it is basically deleted.
Oh,
So it's like an Iron Man thing. Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
interesting.
I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, because it's been a while, we don't actually delete the character. Just that you end up not being able to play the game. You just sort of get stuck in a little hell mode where it's just a little room that you can't escape.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
So it's kind of cool. I've noticed, Caleb, is you started with nothing else on the screen except for to move, right? Then you followed a very obvious path to an area with a couple baddies, and those couple baddies are pretty simple.
Right.
Especially for how powerful you are at the moment. And then after that, you also had a couple pots and barrels to break to do.
Which had a very, very satisfying sound.
Right, exactly. And then you came across to teach you to use another mechanic. I'm guessing you could just walk through there, but using the roll is most effective. Right. But what's nice here is it's all linear.
There's these nice
There
little
is-
hearts.
Yep.
Yeah, the whole thing's
It looks
linear.
like every container you break has a heart in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all very linear, which is kind of nice.
Oh, I forgot my shift button.
Hey, you didn't learn what that is yet.
Actually, it did. It showed it when I first.
Yeah,
got
no, it
the
did.
Oh,
area.
okay.
It did. Yeah.
It-
So
okay, gotcha.
so this is a little turret guy.
But you know what it's teaching you here?
A block.
It's teaching you you must use. Well, it could teach you the block, but you have to use your ranged weapon in order to beat this.
Oh, that's also true. I mean, you didn't.
Yep.
You
All
couldn't-
the other
you
ones
could
you could have
actually-
used your melee.
That's right. You could actually avoid it. That's a nice secondary thing. Is it's
true.
teaching you both the defense and the ranged offense. Yeah.
That's
Doing
right.
both of those.
Was that intentional to have that in that little fire pit to teach you to use your ranged?
Yeah, it was also to make sure that it helped encourage people to attempt to block, opposed to just going
Was
up
it?
to the enemy and like it was more about not making sure that they just go up and melee it. That it's like, oh, you will encounter things that you can't immediately just go up and whack. Now, obviously, you have the ranged weapon there, so you can attack it that way.
Right.
Again, it's slowly just introducing very simple concepts. Not that they're any particularly hard to grasp, but again, in the tutorial, you just want to layer things very slowly.
Oh, that's right. I totally forgot about this. Yes, the abilities quick bar. I have 8 keys down here.
Yeah.
Only one that we have right now is the jump forward, which is the only way to jump in the game, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
I totally
Yeah.
forgot about that myself.
And this totally forces you to do it because like you have no way to go. That's excellent.
Nice.
Aye, fiends. Ah, yes. So much health. Actually got to
Oh,
the
and
end of
then
the
some-
tutorial.
Some stairs up, because and a little couple hearts beforehand. You know something's coming.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. If it saves, you're like, uh-oh. Ooh, I can charge shot him. Like 3.
Was there anything in the tutorial that teaches about charge?
Nope.
Because you can do your primary weapon charge too.
Yep. Yeah, all weapons. There's a few weapons that you can hold down, and they'll just continually shoot. And then other weapons will just have like a charge shot.
Impossible.
Impossible. Like it just sinks into the ground.
Yeah, that's a great
It's a
animation.
satisfying animation. The gears of destiny. Or so I assume. Alright, I'm gonna actually. Oh no, it was all a dream. Skipping the text because we want to get to the multiplayer.
I forgot. all
Bypassing
about
our
that.
high-tech graphics there.
I did like the turn of the page. That was nice.
Yeah, that is cool. I
Alright.
completely forgot all about all of that.
Could I have you join me at this point?
Probably tutorial's over, right?
Should be able to.
Let's try it. Okay.
Okay.
Eight. Let's see. Got one.
Oh, I think I'm coming. I'm on my way. Trying to connect.
Although I guess if we're starting here, perhaps we should. Perhaps I should actually use a new character. Otherwise, I'm just gonna auto kill everything.
It's great.
Oh, Caleb, I can't connect. It's not connecting.
Oh no. Let me try again.
Oh, wait. No, that's because I'm trying to connect to Wes's game. Why is it saying that? Trying to connect because that is not your handle.
Toss out some more invites.
There we go. There we go. Okay, I'm in.
I see a triangle. Okay, there's Scott with the very wonderful bee hat.
A Dumblebee hat.
Bumblebee hat, yes.
Yes.
Well, it's Dumble with a D. Dumble.
Oh, Dumblebee.
Except I can't do anything.
Oh no.
Hold on. Yes, if you shoot me, that helps.
Definitely helps, I'm sure.
Okay, hold on. Let me change my input.
Anybody else need another invite? Oh wait, Wes looks like he is perhaps not at his computer.
Probably get another one whenever he's done making his character.
You can move now, Scott? You good?
I cannot move. Okay, all right.
Oh,
hang on.
sorry. I didn't realize I was muted. It's trying to connect to you, Caleb, but it's not
Oh,
having.
Scott has disconnected.
I did disconnect. This
Yeah,
doing
go
it
ahead.
live thing is fun.
See if you can.
Oh yeah. Doing it live's great.
Okay.
Go down the
There.
list and send invites again. Third time's a charm. Here we go.
It's funny because like whenever I'm playing with my friends on Steam, this is usually
Night.
like a good portion of the night. Or like we'll play an old game and we have to like download certain drivers or something like that, and it's like, okay, well that game is gonna take a while, or hey, we finally got it working, and
All right. We've got
yeah,
some
I'm stuck on the
connections.
screen. I'm stuck on the screen. Hold on. I'm gonna try to do it again.
Ooh, you have like a flaming stick of doom.
Or a fire wand. Chickens. Okay, we have to know from the developers why the chickens.
Why the chickens? Yeah.
I mean, why not?
I like that answer. Yes.
There we go.
That is the appropriate answer.
You unlock the achievement. Full party.
Yeah, there we go.
Let's
I
see
think
if my
this is the first time
controller
I've ever
works.
played this with other people.
Oh, okay. I guess I'm just gonna use my keyboard. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So there is definitely a chicken theme in this game. You can pick the
There's
chickens
a
up.
bee theme.
You cannot kill said chickens, right? You can't.
Nope.
Can't beat them. But there is, if you're a wizard, I think there's a chicken, like a chicken summon spell or something like that.
Mhm.
If I remember correctly. Yeah.
Here, hold on.
Yes.
But it is fun to pick the chickens up.
It's
Yeah, you
very
can't- You
satisfying.
can't hurt the normal chickens.
Yeah,
Oh.
there are technically chickens in the game that you can that attack you. There are both ninja chickens, and then the actual like bad guy of the game is a chicken.
There's a chicken seller down here. Not a seller of chickens, but a seller who is a chicken.
Yes.
A chicken
that's
merchant.
right. Don't shoot the chicken.
Who will not actually talk to you until you put on a chicken hat.
That's
Oh.
right. I remember the chicken.
Will he react if I shoot him?
No.
No, he isn't.
I already tried.
So I do have to say there is a lot of good there's a lot of good humor in this game. I
Yes.
noticed that there's a big theme on chickens. That's kind of funny, but a lot of the item descriptions. I think whoever's an archer, if you get a bow for a first weapon, I think the description says it's almost better than yelling at your enemy or something like that.
Yes, more effective than yelling at someone.
More effective than yelling. Okay, I got it. It's all good stuff. The inside the license bureau, yes, in here. This is great. The skeleton is the first person in line. He is a complete diary you can read.
I should go talk to them. Nice scroll. We're applying for our hero license. Included but not limited to damsel saving, monster slaying, dramatic entrances, and up to 1 arch nemesis. Not 2, 1. Boss dungeons. Yep. First, please. So your parents left the appropriate 10,000 gold for payment. A lot of gold.
Jeez.
Oh, this is the skeleton.
Yes,
This
the skeleton
diary
is great. Yeah.
Soul-crushing bureaucracy. Gotta read the diary.
I love how the diary reads. It reads like a he's on a massive, very difficult quest.
Well, he's done some sort of like important research that he's tried to get a license for. A swarm of chickens broke through the front door today. The rest of my trail actions. I have to fill out another form. Board clerk decided to start over from 1. The last entry was made 4 years ago. Hermit to brew, imbibe a potion of youth, longevity, and everlasting life. He didn't get to actually use it because he died trying to get the form signed. So did both of you do writing for this game?
Yeah, we all kind of pitched into that. We also had a friend who was currently living at our house at the time, and he'd like to do writing, and so we commissioned him for some of the stuff as well. Yeah, anytime that we ended up having a good idea, it pretty much got in there.
That's great. All right,
All right,
think we should.
So there's a lot happening in this game. Should we kind of explain? Like what's going on? You know, what things do we learn outside of the tutorial? Where do we have to go? What do we have to do? Other than just picking up chickens and laughing at stuff.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, for the most part, it's we wanted to make an RPG, and so we did a loose context, a loose story around all of it. The essential, like the nugget of the story is that you're in a fantasy world that has a sort of a hero bureaucracy, where you have to get a hero license if you actually want to go and adventure. So you, as a plucky young hero, decide to you get your stuff, you get your license, and then like the first person you talk to right at the house is like your Gary, your rival, who is assigned to you.
Oh right. Yes.
And so like he sort of like drags you along in the beginning parts of the story. And yeah, for the most part, it's like, it's an RPG. You go through, there's different dungeons to complete. You find different equipment. It's very reminiscent of sort of Diablo, just sort of a dungeon crawler, magic item finding sort of thing. And yeah, I don't know. We try to put some flavor in where we could. As far as like what you do right out of the gate, it's a pretty straightforward game. I mean, right out of the gate, you pretty much have a linear path. Besides talking to people in town, to like the first dungeon.
Yes, and I actually really like that about this game is it is light and easy to pick up, right? There is some depth to it, but it is fairly easy to just pick up and understand exactly what you have to do and where you have to go. Ooh, who we got here? Uh-oh.
Terry. I like the Gary reference going on there. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you this once, so listen up. As your town certified rival, my job is to be better than you. And from the looks of it, my job is going to be easy. But I'm also obligated to at least try not to let you die, so don't embarrass me too much. Above us is the entrance to the forest. Take it and meet at the Earth Dungeon entrance. Just play it smart and try not to trip over your own boots.
I mean, does he really have much to say with a fireball in the face? Come on.
Is this sort of a you must
There we
gather
go.
your party before
I'm
venturing forth kind of a thing? Or does it just...
No, people can willy-nilly go to the different zones.
Awesome, okay.
Oh, okay. You can go anywhere you want. And this is also nice, too. You just run in, beat stuff up. You know what to do.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
it was always entertaining. When giving in this out to different people, we specifically made, especially at this beginning area, a lot of the enemies just real simple. Like, you know,
Right.
you go up to them, you whack them. There's not much else to do. But surprisingly, we still had people. There was a few people who'd be like, "Oh, it's too hard. I don't know what to do." And it's like
really?
you go up and you swing your sword, and then they die because they literally can't do that much damage to you.
Ooh,
Ooh,
leveled up.
someone leveled up. So we'll have to check that out. But I'm also curious about the loot.
She's just
yeah.
about to jump in and mention that. The loot that you see is instanced for you.
Oh, good to know. Okay.
I was curious about that. Yeah. Okay.
So everyone sees their own loot drops. Now, if you get an item and you don't want it, you can drop it, and once you drop it, then someone else can see it and pick it up.
Okay, that's cool.
I think Diablo 3 works that way.
That does sound familiar. I think you're right. Yeah.
I think it is, yeah.
And look, you guys were ahead of the curve on that.
No, they were Diablo 3 had come out at that point.
They had it really?
I think
Okay.
I think so.
Now take the credit.
Take that credit.
Oh, and hey, look, there's bushes here.
Oh, this must
do you
be
think
where...
we can?
Oh, I think we have unlocked a portal, a teleportation portal.
2012 is when Diablo 3 came out.
Ah.
Yeah, that's actually a good question. Were there games that you had that were sort of inspired certain aspects of this one?
Oh yeah. Diablo. So Diablo was a big one. Sort of, you know, there's obviously a lot of like random Legend of Zelda themes in here.
Sure.
And I think the other one that sort of particularly influenced the art style was what was that game called? 3D Dot Heroes, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a PlayStation. Okay.
Mm-hmm. It had done the whole voxel thing sort of before us.
Oh, really? Okay. Ooh, you got to the Dumblebee.
King of the Dumblebees, buzz buzz. My wealth is vast, and I'm also quite popular. Just ask anyone. I'm the buzz around town.
Yeah.
Are you one of my drones? Yes? Yes, of course. How can I cut you? Buzz, go forth and collect pollen. I've heard there's some great stuff just past here. It's the bee's knees.
Yeah, so the way that we ended up sequencing a lot of the outside area, originally we were like, we're going to do this big open world and it's all going to be procedural and blah, blah, blah. And, the further we got into the game, it was just like, all right, this is great, but it adds so much complexity to like what we have to build and what needs to exist. And you got to make the outdoor areas interesting. And so what we ended up narrowing down to is the game's broken down into 4 different dungeons, and then each dungeon sort of has an outdoor area that exists before the actual dungeon. And so like you get to explore around. There's a few random NPCs like this that exist inside of there, but for the most part, it is a path to the next dungeon.
Right.
I have
Now, somewhere here. Look at the map.
Here we go. How do I get to the menu usually?
You press the I button.
Okay, great. Points available.
There's a skill tree. Cool.
Yeah, you can
Skill
put
tree.
your points into any. You're not locked in any direction,
Yeah, which I really like.
so you
I
can
really like that.
go straight into warrior, mage, or rogue, and then once you put enough points into the main categories, you unlock the sub skills.
Gotcha.
So what you pick as your class when you started your character is really just a initial kit.
Right. It's version 2. Oh, something's happening. Good.
Looks like Chase went over and found the dungeon entrance, and he's beating up the rival.
I just love that there's a ton of gold just sitting here.
Yeah, that's true. It looks like loot's dropped from any enemy that is killed, right?
Yeah.
Not just what you have killed. So that means things just laying around that you can pick up if someone else takes care of it.
It's really
Correct.
Okay,
We could have opted to put a only drop loot if the player is within a certain distance of the enemy, but just like why bother? It's if you were joining late, to the party a little bit, you can go through all the enemies in the level and pick up their loot.
Okay, this is where it's explaining the points. Yeah. Thanks for defeating the rival.
Yeah, that was sort of a hard aspect to the multiplayer thing. It's you get a lot of there's a number of situations where it's like, okay, well, someone might be in, as you guys were in an entirely different part of the level, but I was over here completing, part of the sequence of quests to be able to continue. And it's like, should people participate in that? Should they not participate in that?
Oh yeah.
And so, yeah, generally it's whenever something big happens that is relevant to the story, it sort of pauses everything and then everyone zooms over. So now we can go into the dungeon.
Who wouldn't want to go in the dungeon? So is the mini map also shared?
Yes, I believe so.
No.
Is it not?
The mini-map
nope,
is
logo.
local to you. You just see the locations or the direction of the other players.
I forgot about
Actually,
this.
I'm watching other people wander around and fill the mini map for me.
Oh, all right. Then I stay correct.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Oh yeah. So what's going on with?
So I'm
stream,
playing
Caleb?
Bejeweled at the
Yeah,
moment.
you are playing Bejeweled.
It's like match 4,
Match 3.
or match 3 minigame.
Yeah, so we knew that we wanted to have some sort of like resource harvesting system, a la, like obviously Skyrim has like its lock picking mechanics and things like that, and
Right.
we wanted some game, and we weren't entirely sure what to come up with, and we actually had there was really heated discussions about this because I had come up with this idea like, well, let's just do Bejeweled, like it'll be fine, it's gem themed. We know how it works. It's easy to program. And Dave was really like, "Oh, I don't know about that." Like,
I freely admit, I actually didn't like the idea. I thought people would think it was stupid.
Yeah. But we ended up. It was one of those where we couldn't come to a conclusion of like, do we both agree? So it sort of come down to, all right, build it, put it out to the early access people, see what they say. If they like it, cool. But if they hate it, we're gonna take it out. And we ended up putting it out there, and people were like, "Oh, I enjoy it. It's great."
Bottom left. You can swap two in the same positions next to one another.
Oh, okay, thank you. I was like, I don't see what I can do. What do I do?
It's one of those where, for a single player game, it's actually just fine. I think that it works out very well. I think that if we did the game again, we wouldn't put it in there, and the reason being is that it sort of kills the pace of multiplayer.
Right.
Because where one person sort of just sits there, and then the whole team goes off and they're whacking at things. And so at the end of the day, it's one of those where it was neat, but probably wouldn't do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the single players really enjoyed it. It gave them a nice pause.
It does, yeah. I see exactly what you're saying. It especially if you clear the area first, because I noticed the action still continues, right? Nothing gets paused. But it is a good break in the action. I like that.
Yeah,
Also-
from the oh no, go ahead.
I was gonna say I also like that because all of the loot drops are individualized, you're not fighting over who gets the health.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
It sounds like a classic fight in multiplayer is who gets the health.
Yes. Oh heck, we were just playing old school Gauntlet not too long ago.
Yes.
I was like, okay, you get the health. No, it's my turn to get the health. Don't shoot the health. Thank you for putting in that you can shoot the health. For not putting in that you can shoot the health.
Yeah, that's right. So interesting. So
Yeah.
instead of playing, we can also just break them down for a considerably lessened reward.
Yeah, looks like there's two versions.
There's
of
two
the,
different types.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
and the type that you just break, I think, is color dependent on the gem or the reward that you get. For crafting purposes or socket purposes. No, crafting purposes.
For crafting purposes, yeah.
Spiders.
Spiders,
Oh yeah,
I've
those
been
guys.
playing Deep Rock Galactic. Spiders don't bother me anymore.
Oh wait, I forgot. I have a pet.
Yeah, we actually, so depending on the number of players in the game, we'll actually increase the amount of health that enemies have.
That makes
does it? Oh.
sense. Okay.
It does. It makes it more of a challenge, but it actually makes it harder for one person to go off on their own, because things end up having,
Oh, yeah.
way more health than they probably should.
Oh, can't get to that wall. Have to go another way.
Ooh, spiders.
Poor players, so much loot.
Yeah.
So much loot. Well, I guess that balances though, right? Because I mean everything's more powerful but also more loot.
That's true. All right. I think we have to go down and to the right.
Yes, I believe you are correct.
Yeah, from a development standpoint, the network engineering on this was both a challenge because it was I was sort of new to that, but it was also interesting. We ended up going with a model where there's actually 2 instances of the game running at the same time for whoever's hosting the game. And so you're actually connected to there's sort of a headless server version that's running. And then even in single player, you're basically connected to yourself.
Gotcha.
The reason because of that is it is technically more resource intensive, but it meant that when we developed the game and we could develop and make it work in single player, and then as long as it worked in single player, you knew that it would always work in multiplayer because it's the same code path that's running both things.
That's interesting. Yeah, tell you what, I was working on a multiplayer for a little while, and it was like a turn-based thing. It wasn't even like real time. I tell you what, anybody who achieves like multiplayer networking has all of the props in the world, because I've never gotten it to work. Like I just can't, like, authentication. It's always authentication that just nukes my ability to. Now maybe something like this would be a little bit different, but mine was kind of like
a couple comments on that. So one of you had already commented earlier, and I spoke up, and it's players can go wherever they want, wherever they have access to. So all players could technically be in 4 separate zones, and they'd all be running on that whoever's hosting. In terms of authentication, that's going to be your biggest hit for multiplayer networking, because you're sitting there, it's like, all right, the server's the authority, and if the client has to I would like to do this, do I have permission to do this, and all that back and forth of negotiation for that does eat up a lot. But then what you can honestly do is ask yourself, is that necessary for the game I'm building?
Right.
Think of it this way, is if the game is designed around a single player playing or multiplayer with people playing with their friends, and if one person can cheat because everything is not completely 100% authoritative modeling, then if the one person is being a jerk because they're cheating, then guess what? You're just not going to play with them. The problem can kind of solve itself. The other thing is, if you don't have leaderboards, if you don't have things where people are ranking one versus another, then it really, at the end of the day, doesn't matter. For many of us who played games that had cheat codes, or or some of us who would go in and hack our own game save files, like, old RPGs, I'm going to give myself all 18s or 25, stats, and then you play the game, and guess what? Sure, you felt powerful, but then you felt like you didn't accomplish anything. The game got boring because you cheated. So you can actually not stress out as much if the game requirements don't say that you need it. And then you can actually relax and not necessarily require all those round trips, so to speak. And then that could basically make the whole networking sort of a much simpler problem, because you're not doing it anymore.
Yeah, that's really good insight.
Yeah, once you actually start caring about authoritative stuff, it becomes much more of a nightmare. Because even when you write something with the best intentions, it's like, well, but if let's say someone sent a different number of some sort, and you're like, well, it shouldn't send that number, but if they did, is your code robust enough to be able to take that into account? What do you do? And that's real difficult. You have to assume that any information coming in is basically compromised, and you have to spend a lot of time doing that. Thankfully, as David said, we were able to cheat on a lot of it. We're able to just trust that, when, like with player movement, each client is basically just saying, they're just sending out a packet to everybody saying, hey, this is where I am. And just the other clients trust it. It's one of those where it's like in a for a normal multiplayer game like Fortnite, that would never work because people would just cheat instantly. But for here, it's actually the best because a player always knows where they are. They never get rubber banded around by the network, where the network disagrees with the client where they are, and Anytime that you like do damage to an enemy, even if your enemy is in a slightly different position, if you hit it, yeah, you did that damage.
Yeah, that's a really interesting insight. I always try to like, the term that we have used in web dev is like lowest, well, like cybersecurity and stuff. You always talk about the lowest common denominator. Like, assume that something is definitely going to be like nefarious and code towards that. But yeah, in that kind of a context, you don't necessarily have to do that. And that's a lot of extra work to always assume that is the case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, geez. Oh my gosh. There were enemies there. I was deep in thought of like networking and things, and all of a sudden there were spiders.
Oh god, there's so many.
I'm just gonna stay over here. Oh no, there's more.
Yeah, so on the other side of the world, obviously you saw the little forge there. We had come up with a number of ideas of like, it's like, okay, obviously there's going to be a dungeon and there's going to be enemies in it, but there has to be something else. Like, there needs to be little things of interest that you can find, and that forge is a random chance encounter that you can find that gets generated into a dungeon. And the idea behind the forge was we knew that this game was going to have a lot of random loot. So it's like you pick up something, you grab a bunch of it, and it's like it's always a pain to because any particular RPG player, they want to sort of min-max because it's usually a stat game. So it's like, oh, I find all this equipment, I want to pick it up and I want to go sell it for gold, or I want to get some usefulness out of it. And that whole like procedure of going and like picking up your equipment and selling it, we didn't like that. So what we did is we created the forge. The forge sort of solves that problem. And it also solved another problem, which is finding equipment that is of your level. So what you can do at the forge is you can basically take any particular piece of equipment that you have, and then you can combine it with other pieces of equipment to level it up. So like the individual items can increase in level, and you can forge something up to 10 levels from its base, whatever it was originally created at. And what this does is it means that if you find a piece of equipment that you like, but you haven't found anything better yet, but you're starting to out-level your gear, what you could do is you could just take all the the trash that you find, and you can just throw it into the one thing that you like. That both gets rid of all of that, and then it upgrades your equipment. Now, obviously, it only goes up to 10 levels, so at some point you're going to have to find another piece of equipment and move on. But you get to make more of a choice about when that is.
Yeah, I really like that, actually.
Yeah, when I found that out, I thought it was extremely refreshing, rather than just have to go to town, sell your junk, go to town, sell your junk, right? I really like that mechanic.
I do remember at times in my old playthrough where I would be like wanting to level up my gear, and so I need to go like item hunting sometimes. But it's nice because then you're like, finding the items isn't, oh, this is just something that is eventually going to turn into gold. It's, hey, this is actually an item that has value to it inherently that I can then use.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure that everything that you picked up had, like, it felt like it was still something that you would, gain.
Ah!
The procedural generation of this was interesting. Again, because we had wrote our own engine, we were really limited on the creation tools that we had. So a lot of the procedural generation is done just by black and white, like text file, or not black and white text files, but black and white image files. What I would do is you'd end up creating a number of tiles. And you would just create them in I would just create them in Photoshop. They were like 32 by 32 pixel images. And then what I would do is I'd say, okay, I'd program a level generator, and the level generator would take in some of these files and just say, okay, these are rooms, attach them together in various ways. And
All set up in XML.
yeah, all of that data was set up in XML, which was laborious and probably not the right way to go about it if you're using Unity or anything. There, you can actually just make a null game object that you can place somewhere. But yeah, those were the tools we had, and for the most part, it was a very interesting layering system where it'd be like, okay, well, it needs to create an entrance and an exit, and they would choose locations, and then we would try to connect a bunch of rooms together, and then it'd be like, okay, well, it needs this and this and this, and then I would after it was all sort of done, then there was a little bit of destruction that would go on where it would say, okay, well, here these two things can combine with each other. So like if you look at the map overall, I think that the water and the actual like land masses and the water were two different layers of generation, and the water would just sort of go on top of everything else. It was interesting there because you would initially create the maze of the dungeon. And the maze of the dungeon would, get you from point A to point B just fine. And you can't add any new walls, because if you add new walls, you could potentially block off someone from actually being able to get to the exit. But what you could do is you could take away stuff. And by taking away stuff, you've now created these new alternative paths that, maybe never existed in the original design. And then obviously each layer can have a monster generation layer. So like with some of the fishes that you'll find around, like those only show up in the water. But we use that technique several times in different dungeons to varying degrees. And there was definitely a bit of fiddling. There was a lot of just, generate it and see if it works and see if there's any weird edge cases. But for the most part, I think it worked out to create these very organic sections. I think the only thing that we didn't really accomplish really well was the more structured dungeons, where it's supposed to be like an actual built-up room. Those worked just fine, but I think we were limited by the tools that we had to do a lot of specific item placement.
Yeah, in that regard, for example, it would have been prohibitively difficult or challenging to go, I want a room that has exactly these items and this placement because I want a scene to have. We had no tools and infrastructure to be able to support creating that kind of level in the generation. Whereas in a more modern UI like Unity, where you could set up, yes, here is a room that I've built and I want this room itself to show up somewhere where you manually, place everything. Yeah, we couldn't do that.
Or at least have a starting point.
Yeah. What we ended up doing were more, we can, perfect example. When you were in the forest, after you left the city, the trees there are randomly placed. But they're placed using algorithms that measure the distance and probability from the edging. So that all the paths you could still walk without impedance.
Right.
So we made use of algorithms like that to place plant life and things like the lighting that you see along the edging here. We could do things like that, but anything more complex than that, we just couldn't do.
Huh. Until Forge Quest 2.
Well, I actually worked quite a long time on Forge Quest 2, and that ended up becoming abandoned. But there were some pretty cool things that ended up getting made.
Was it using the same engine from this one, or starting point?
Originally, there was a little bit of that, and then I had ended up moving over to Unity.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm just having a lot of fun playing this game with all of y'all.
I know. This is kind of.
This is a lot of fun.
It's easy. Like I said, it's easy to pick up, and it's not like I've been doing my own thing, but that hasn't been distracting. Like I hate when games are kind of like, you kind of want to do your own thing, and then it like kind of almost punishes you for like doing something that you want to do, and they're like, "You're on the side of the screen. Come on, we're waiting on you." I'm like, "Okay." Like,
You must gather your party before venturing forth.
yeah,
Yeah, we really didn't want to have. Yeah, you can have 4 players, but you'll have to stay within 10 feet of each other.
right.
You will like each other.
It's like you know, the kids that have to hold their parents' hand at an amusement park. You just want to go where you want to go, right? Like, it's like, I want to go on the slide. Slow it down. Okay.
Fun. Armor.
Nope. I got super lagged.
Oh.
Nope, there's a down entrance.
Wow, that was quick.
Ooh. I think mine might have been frozen.
No.
I see
I
whoever
see
is
you
fighting
read
like the spider thing. Nope, coming back. Hold on.
It's always
Chase went down to the next level. He's on floor 4.
Yeah, here, come down. I'm at the mini
He's fighting a boss.
Oh
we
no!
already have mini
Yeah.
boss.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Working on it. I'm going. Here we go.
Oh.
I'm here.
Forge
I'm
Quest.
here.
Forge Quest has
Oh
crashed.
my gosh! There are. Oh no! There's a giant spider thing. No! Leave me alone. Oh, you gotta hit the end. Okay. There we go.
I think so, yeah. I like how Chase started, and we could just jump in at any time.
Yeah.
That was cool. Get away from us, spiders. No, get away.
You have the bomb, Scott?
Yeah, that's me, yeah.
That's
It
nice
takes
of them.
care of those little spiders.
No, leave me alone. Leave me alone.
Oh, wait, I got a... Go get
Okay,
him, dog.
so I gotta ask about boss design. So
Yeah.
what inspirations did you draw from the bosses?
So a lot of the bosses are based off of Zelda bosses, like
Okay,
classic
okay.
2D Zelda. This one in particular is pretty much just one of the Zelda bosses.
Yeah, we're making short work of them, too.
Ah.
I mean, it's a good classic design. It's sort of the slow lumbering, at start, but every time you take away a segment, it gets a little bit faster and a little bit harder.
Yes.
So the intensity increases as the battle continues. No.
Yay!
Nice.
Go team. We still missing Wes?
And of course,
Oh yeah, I'm working my way back. But it's interesting. It hasn't really like I haven't lost items or anything like that, which is nice.
So one comment: your character gets saved periodically. So, unless like maybe right after something, you might lose something, but
Yeah.
in general, it's pretty protective. Every other floor, every even floor of a dungeon should have one of these little teleporter pads, and you can go there straight from town.
oh,
So you didn't
okay.
have to go to
Always
the
go
top.
back.
You could go to town and then just jump to the closest even floor.
We're being attacked
Oh,
by chickens.
okay. Maybe that's what I need to do.
Ninja chickens.
Ninja chickens.
Oops. Let me do that.
So, Scott and
floor-
Wes, I was going to ask you guys if you were familiar with Rise of the Astral Dragon.
No,
no.
I am not.
You guys
Uh-oh.
want to share about that?
Yeah, so there was a particular musician that we had worked with for some promotional material before. And we,
Yes.
because we had done, for Forge Quest 1, we had actually done a music video sort of promo, and we had commissioned him to do the song. And he was great. We loved working with him. His name was Todd Bryant. He ended up doing, if you guys know, shoot, what was it? Mine
Beep, beep
Turtle.
like a sheep.
Beep, beep
Mine
like a sheep.
turtle.
What is
Everybody do the
that?
flop.
Sorry,
I don't know, but it must be killed.
it's a worm. Sorry, please continue.
Yeah. So yeah, we'd contacted this individual. We worked with him for the original song for Forge Quest, and that worked out really well. We were always really happy working with him, and I wanted an excuse to work with him again. And so, going along the chicken theme, at one point, actually, to give you, I was sitting down. I was about to judge a Magic the Gathering pre-release event, and I was sitting down with my sketch pad, and I was like, I just want to draw something interesting. And so I drew a 4 band members of what would be a sort of chicken band. There would be like a metal group of hair metal chickens. And this was actually it originally come out of one of our designs for Forge Quest 2, because we wanted some NPCs in there, and we were like, oh well, there needs to be a metal chicken band, and they'll be at a bar, and you can do quests for them, and so I was drawing them, and we kind of got the crazy idea. It's like, well, hey, could we just like get a song made for them? Like, how far do we want to take this idea? And so we contacted Todd again, and he was like, yeah, absolutely, I love doing that stuff. And so we had commissioned one song, and that song came out, and we loved it. We fell in love with it, and then we're like, well, we got one song. How hard would it be to just like do a whole album? And so we worked out the details, and we ended up doing a whole little album, and we did promotional material for it, and it worked out really well. If anyone wants to listen to it, you can find it on Spotify. It's technically on YouTube. It is called Aflocalypse.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Aflocalypse was the eventual name, and it tells the story, a tragic story of 4 chicken heroes to save their planet from a interdimensional dragon who wants to sort of destroy the planet. And no, I'm really, really proud of everything that came out of there. I'm really happy with all of the artists and the work that they put into it. So yeah, no, I honestly it would make me very happy for people to go and check that out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I do
we'll have
recommend.
to get the link and we can share it.
I do recommend. I was looking for I have my sticker on my desk somewhere, but I couldn't find it. It's hidden somewhere. It was pretty great. I really did enjoy that.
Yeah, I think, Caleb, you got an early preview of some of the songs, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I remember because David and I used to work at the same place, and so we'd chat every now and then, and he was showing me that when that was in progress. That feels like a long time ago now.
Yeah, the album ended up getting released. It was right at the beginning of 2020. I think it was the December of 2019.
Yeah, the songs were done at the very end of 2019, and I had the promotional material made, which was a bunch of press CDs, some posters, T-shirts, stickers, made in February of 2020, and I got them all in and had just mailed them out to a bunch of people right before everything shut down.
That's always the perfect timing.
Yeah.
My brother started a new business in 2020 and was like, really? Really? It's, you gotta do what you gotta do. Laugh it off. They actually did it out pretty well. They basically just converted everything online. Oh hey, a shop.
Yeah.
Hey, we haven't talked about any of these.
Yeah, this is interesting. Yeah, okay. Oh, well, there's this whole thing here that I haven't brought up yet, which is the runes. Since I'm in an inventory screen, I should bring that up. So certain items have rune slots attached to them. You can see I've been picking those up.
Those little squares on the items.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
they're color coded to specific types. And so you can put different ones in there, and they just give you like these. There's a rune greed, which gives you a 20% gold find boost, and a bunch of them. Ooh, criticals. Ooh, I should put some of those on.
So what are weapons that are highlighted blue in text? What is that? More effective at yellow?
Rarity. Actually, if you hold Caleb, can you hold the mouse over to the different colors? Like that's an uncommon, then move to the green.
Yeah.
That's a rare.
Oh, okay.
And then there's like mythic and
common. Do I have any?
probably not yet.
Yeah. I guess
It's
I watched...
we borrowed sort of the color coding from many other MMOs and Diablo, which was color coding item drops.
Sockets. Shield health. Inventory management.
Yeah, as you start to get further, like your inventory starts to end up exploding out with all sorts of different stuff
Yes.
until you go back to town, and then you go to a forge and you just combine them all.
Yep. And you can boost your runes too, right? Those work under the same.
You
principle.
can. Same mechanic. You just need other runes, if I recall.
Yep. Yeah, that was an idea originally from Warframe, where with Warframe you end up getting mods, which would add little special effects, and if you found a really rare mod, you would usually find it at just like a low level, and then what you could do is you take a bunch of your other mods that you found that you just don't care about. You're like, oh, gold find, I don't care about that. You just throw it into the one that you do care about. So again, it goes with that whole system of, look, I found something, but even if I don't actually care about that thing, it is still useful in leveling up my other things. I think if I was to go back and do the system again, it probably would still be similar in some of the core aspects that we've been talking about here, but it would be more interesting to have more conditional effects or things that were a lot less number-based. We did a lot of number-based stuff just because it was simple and there was a lot of work to do. So it's super easy just to put like a damage critical amount or gold find or things like that. Things that require more assets where it's like, oh, well, every time you use a charge attack, it spawns a chicken that explodes. Like you can do that, but it's asset work. Now it's sound work.
Right.
Now it's scripting work. Opposed to just a like, oh, well, it's gold find. Yeah, that's just a number in the code. That's simple. There was definitely, coming off of this game, it was one of those where, especially as you get like over the hump of game development, as you start getting towards the end, you have to just start being really hard with yourself and cutting ideas. You're just like, yeah, that would be great. I would love that, but we don't have the time. There's all these other things we have to do.
I was trying to go do my own thing, and I got locked in a room full of bad guys.
Oh no.
It was my own fault.
You were holding your own.
Mostly by running away.
That's a good tactic.
Oh no. Wait, how am I doing this?
Love these.
Yeah.
Oh, not that way.
Well, you got to pull this down.
Yeah.
That one over.
And I love that we can contribute to this, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is a lot of fun.
Was one thing about the puzzle design is they had to work in either single player or multiplayer mode.
For those, do you have a procedural generation for puzzles like this one?
No, so those were all like just hand created. Mostly because like it's hard to create a puzzle that's procedurally generated, but also it like with procedural generation, there's a fine line between doing things that are random and doing things that are authored content. Authored content is always going to be more entertaining because there's a specific creator purpose put behind it. But obviously the downside being is that, well, once you see one thing, you've seen it, and you know, it.
Yeah.
Oh no, melee immune.
Oh
Yeah. So these basically there's a random chance of encountering just a few enemies that have like random special effects on them. So like this one has teleporting and melee immune.
Although sometimes the sound should be able to tip you off if you're not sure. Whatever enemy you hit last, when you see their name and health bar up top, it'll list any of their special properties as well.
I'll have to look
Yeah,
for
there's
that.
a lot
Yeah, I
of
was
these
gonna
subtle
say, I'll
things
look
that
for
are
that
really
too.
helpful.
Side room over here.
The laser.
Oh jeez, I am hurting.
Yeah, I was like, I'm backing off for a sec.
Hey. Fieldy.
Sure, I can. Oh, I healed up. Because I leveled up. Die.
Okay, that's good.
Yes, because we wouldn't ever want to actually use potions. No.
That was funny.
Yeah, I think potions. So health potions are still extremely useful in this game, like any game that has health potions. We ended up creating a number of like alternative potions where it's like, oh, you get like damage buffs, or you take less damage. And those really like, honestly, they don't get used. We created them, and they just there's already enough things in the game to pay attention to, and it's not. There is not like masterful, unlike like Breath of the Wild or any sort of like big action-based game. You're not very precisely trying to run around and attack an enemy. So like a lot of that stuff didn't really matter. I think if I ended up doing anything in the future, it would either be getting rid of them, or honestly doing a system where you can just combine them together and make like a big mega potion, and then you just chug the big mega potions, and you get all the effects at once.
Yeah, well, my wife and I have been playing through. We're doing a stream of the game Child of Light, which is just it's got some interesting things lore wise and mechanically wise, but it's also just kind of a JRPG, right? In many ways, but yeah, really enjoying it. But we have this running joke about we have the potion horde, which we just hoard the potions until that moment when we need them, and of course we never need them, and so we just always hoarding the potions for forever. Actually, it's sacrilege to actually use anything in the potion hoard, though. We ended up actually having to on Friday because I was about to die.
Oh, really?
But
Yeah, I left before the stream was over. That's funny.
But yeah, it's the running joke about the potion hoard. A mechanic that I have semi-recently come into awareness of is the Estus flask, which was made popular by Dark Souls. The bonfire mechanic, where you only refill them at a certain point. And I recently played Jedi Fallen Order, which did an exact copy of the same mechanic, where you have meditation points and you have stim packs, and the stim packs, they will refill if you go to a meditation point, but so will all the enemies come back. And so there's like a cost to it. And not every game can do that, but I like it just because it usually creates a scenario where you kind of have to use your stims, and it also gives you a way to get them back, and also you have to kind of be tactical about when you choose to do that. It's an interesting mechanic.
Yeah, usually I just assume like you're gonna beat a boss, and a boss is gonna require that.
Exactly.
Not always. Or like a very particularly specific puzzle or environmental thing.
Oh, found the stairs down.
Oh,
Ooh,
good.
It's a big ball.
Let's rush it down.
Yeah.
Remember, you can hit M to switch your mini map to a little bit larger.
Oh, that's
Oh,
very
okay.
helpful.
All right, where are
Or
we here?
click your right stick.
Is it down the south?
Yeah.
Yes,
Kite,
it is. Yeah.
Kite,
Over down
Oh,
here.
look, it's this room full of goodies that somebody cleared out.
Oh, and there's a forge right next to the stairs too.
Was this? No, this is the ladder.
It's the up.
That's the up.
The icon's not on your map because you haven't seen it yourself.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
That's
okay.
what got me the first time. Is
So
my
the map
reset.
gets revealed, but it doesn't show the icon.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. See these two dots down here?
Coming.
Where you want to go? That's interesting.
Well, look, here's all of this more loot. Somebody's been here before. How you play. You let other people do all of the hard work, and you just pick up the loot afterwards.
There you go.
Here we go.
All these runes.
Oh, this looks official.
The boss should be on the next floor.
Kiting to the next floor.
We can do it, guys. Wow, you zoomed up there. Wow.
Kiting! Oh, this is not where I should be. Oh, this is bad. Oh no, this is bad. Oh no. You cannot push enemies out of the way. That is a thing.
You pushed all the walking through all the doors. You collapsed all the rumble in front of them. I have to beat my way to
Oh
you.
my god! No.
Oh no! Oh no!
And then we're being hoarded. Oh, this is a bad idea.
Oh no!
Right, I'm
Okay.
just gonna keep going. Oh wait, heart! Yay! Again, what was that about letting other people do all of the hard work? And
Yeah, what happened about that?
well, I'm pretty much still doing that, right? Oh look, I found it.
Oh, nice. Okay, where are you? You're.
Oh my goodness. Oh no, this was bad. That's just
Die.
a dead end.
I die.
Okay.
I'm gonna die.
Oh, there it is. I see it.
But look at that horde train in front of the room, just like, hey everybody, you forgot about us. We're right over here. Oh, they're everywhere.
Come on, Scott.
Run!
One down.
Run! Run!
Oh,
Oh my
shoot.
goodness. Skeleton
Coming down.
way.
Alright.
Can you
I'm gonna-
reclose the
I'm
doors?
going. Okay, here we go.
Hey, he looks familiar.
He does look familiar.
He's not mad about anything, is he?
Nah. Oh, he was too strong. Uh-oh.
Oh,
Oh,
they don't make him like they used to.
Oh no!
Oh jeez.
The Scruntle Chicken of Doom!
What?
Cluckins! Quack quack! Just a large chicken, nothing to see here. Move along, Cluck. That was nothing. No secret plans, I mean, Cluck. Not leaving, I see. You're just as stubborn as the old elemental that when I demanded his rune. Guess I will just destroy you like I did him. You should have left when you had the chance.
What?
No, he's coming for me. I'm the ranged person. Look at this. Oh no. Just talking about this path of destruction we are weaving. Oh. What?
No, that doesn't look good.
Oh, those are explosives. Okay.
It's a
Go for that.
ruse. Beautiful. Inconceivable! You can't defeat me. No hero will defeat me. Too bad for you. I got what I came for. You haven't seen the last of me.
He got what he came for before. Why didn't he leave before?
Oh, all the items. All
Loot,
the items.
loot.
There's so much musical instrument. Loot.
Excellent. Oh look, the rival. Was that a chicken? Boss was supposed to be the Earth Golem. Whatever that thing was, it took the Earth Rune. It's not supposed to happen. Oh yeah, good job getting through the easiest dungeon ever. Bet you feel pretty good right now. You know, a toddler wandered in here a few years ago. He came out the other side, level 7, with all blue gear. My point is you're bad and you should feel bad. See you back at town, loser. I'll remember to take my evaluation as Solomon if it's not too much trouble. Thank you. All right. Well, on that note, return to town, and I think we can wrap up here.
Oh. That caused a runtime error for me.
Oh, jeez.
Hooray!
Some of us make it through the portal. Some of us are warriors unmentioned.
All right.
You know,
Creating your own engine is fraught with many errors.
All right. I'm transitioning us away from the game back to just us, and realizing that probably for a long time, the Discord had decided to not render y'all's video. Oh no.
Oh no.
Did not notice that before.
At least if it's capturing the audio in the game.
Yes, that's true. That is true. Wow. Okay, this was a lot of fun. What was the other game that we played with a bunch of us? It was Lovers in a Dangerous Space Time, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right. Wes, Scott, and I. I think it's just so much fun to have everybody kind of in the game, all playing together, or even just like last time, Scott and I were both played it kind of simultaneously, side by side. That was really good too. But yeah. So thoughts about multiplayer? I'm curious, Wes and Scott. Like I haven't played it multiplayer before either, so I'm kind of curious what you all thought.
I mean, like I said, I really liked it. Like the not hands holding thing that sometimes comes with multiplayer is really, really nice to have. Like especially, and I'm sure it's my computer because I've got some wonky things going on. But it's crashed a couple of times, but it was really easy to get back in there and just be like, hey, I not too far behind and I can catch up and I can do my own thing. I could literally go to town and come back because it's really dependent upon the host, right? So,
Right. That's an interesting
So-
point that somebody could, hey, I've got a ton of stuff. I want to go equip my, get new gear, spend some time at the forge. I'm going to go teleport away and I'll be back when I get back.
yeah. So I really enjoyed that. That was kind of
I like that
something
too.
I don't see a lot in games. It's like, I mean, or even if you're like, hey, I have to step away from my computer and come back, it's nice to be able to have that choice and kind of move around a bit more when you need
Right.
to, and then be like, hey, cool, I'm back. Cool.
It's multiplayer without the punishment of having multiplayer. Right?
Yeah.
Forcing you to be a multiplayer. Would you say earlier, Caleb? Just like you're going to play together and like it.
Yes.
Yeah, that was, since that was the first for me too. That was really enjoyable. That was we could all have a good conversation too while playing as well.
Mhm.
Like you touched on earlier, Wes. It was we didn't have to incredibly concentrate on it, right? And I think it also helped that a few of us were higher levels than for the first part of the game, so we could breeze through it while talking about it as well. But yeah, that was a lot of fun.
It
a lot of
was
fun.
nice.
I
Yeah,
had forgotten how fun this game was.
It was nice when I
What
was
level are you guys at?
I was just the beginning. I ended up 7, I think.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I'm 7 as well.
Oh yeah, okay, cool.
I'm
when
sick. 6.
You're sick.
I'm sick. No, 6.
when I was kiting there at the end, trying to get to the end, I got stuck in some boulders, and if you guys hadn't been behind me to like catch up to me, I would have had to deal with that as like a single player person, and I would have been in this room full of a ton of bad guys. I'm not sure I would have made it out actually, in the one instance.
Is that
So-
like a level 4 scenario with one person?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's
Because
interesting.
all of the enemies have increased damage and health.
Yeah, one other comment is in a multiplayer scenario, if you had been trapped and you did get killed, you would have been presented with the option of either respawning back in town or waiting for your friends to come revive you.
Oh,
okay.
that's
Yeah,
interesting.
okay.
I was keeping my tongue shut until it happened, but no one died. So yeah. So if you are adventuring with people, you don't have to suffer going all the way back into town, but it requires them to like go up and kind of press X to kind of meditate on you kind of action. And it takes time, so they're not fighting enemies. So there's a trade-off that when you're doing this multiplayer thing, you're trying to revive your friend, but at the same time trying to not die.
Hmm. Yeah, that's great that that's in there.
Yeah, I think it was just kind of fun because I'd be like, hey, I'm trying to find where you guys went. Oh, hey, another piece of candy. Ooh, another piece of candy. Ooh, another piece of candy. So I'm looking through my inventory system. Like, I've got way more than I need right now. I need to go through some of that too. But yeah, I also like the forging system. I haven't really played around with it too much in this game, but I think that's a really neat way to kind of like get what you need up and running real quick and then continue with the fighting. Like, I think that's like, I don't know, like when you're in a multiplayer, there's not like, I know it's great to have, especially as a unified kind of like, high intensity moments and low intensity moments for game design reasons. Like, it's kind of fun, but sometimes like that's different for each player. So it's kind of nice to be able to moderate that as you need to. So like forging stuff to like get you back in the game so you can fight with your friends, I think is you get the equipment that you want, upgrade it that you need is really important, I think. Because like otherwise like you almost have to schedule when you want to do it, which is not a huge problem at times, but it's kind of neat to see that flow be instantaneous almost.
Yeah, it's sort of
through-
like the old Diablo where it's like, well, everybody back to town, we'll do our stuff, then we'll jump back in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
Yeah,
Well,
it's always like
makes
D&D's like
me-
that too.
It makes me think of like Well, I've been playing Divinity Original Sin 2 with friends, but it has a really robust teleportation system, and you can run into situations where people can just kind of keep going off, and you can go back to town and do your own thing, and it supports that as well. That's actually a little bit what this made me think of, even though Divinity 2 and Forge Quest are different in 100 ways. They're that one particular feature. Kind of
I think
made
I've
me think of
because Dave and I had played through a Divinity 2, and we had that several times where it's like I'd be in town talking to an NPC, and then he'd like, someone else would be interacting with somebody outside of town, and they'd get into a fight. It's like, wait, what are you doing? They're like, I said something bad to somebody, and now I'm in a fight.
I think
Can you
that
come
is
help?
the
It's like, all
universal
right.
experience of that game.
Yeah, I've definitely experienced that. It's like, wait,
Great.
what have maybe you should have thought more about what you said.
Didn't like the cut of his jib.
Well,
At least in go ahead.
No, please.
I was just going to say, at least in Divinity, if one person did start a fight, it goes into the turn-based, so
Mhm.
then you can be like, "Hey, can you just come over here and join the fight?" And then they could do
Right.
so.
Yeah.
Yes. And then
So
once
you
you
just-
get the pyramids, you
sit
can
there
just like
waiting for your
pyramid.
turn.
Right. But you can like pyramid in, and so you just appear next to the person and do the fight. Because they have like the little
That's kinda
teleporter
funny.
pyramids.
Yeah, the teleporting pyramids. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny. So it's like, hold on, guys. Just wait. Keep waiting. Just keep waiting.
Yes. It's your fault that you got into the fight. But anyway, I was just gonna kind of wrap us up here. We're at 4. Thank you both for. I know we weren't sure if we were gonna be able to run the whole time, so thank you so much for coming out, for playing, for talking about your game. I recommend anybody to check it out if you haven't played Forge Quest before. It's a lot of fun. Play it with friends. It's really great. And obviously, Steam Remote Play works on it, which is great. Yeah. Thank you so much, Chase and David, for coming out, talking about your experiences building the game, and yeah. So, any closing thoughts from anyone else?
Yeah, this is a treat. Thank you so much. I put a link to Forge Quest's website in the chat, so you can easily get to it. I highly recommend it. It was I forgot how much fun this game was. It was a lot of fun.
What was the name of that music? It was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Check out Aflocalypse. You can find it
Aflocalypse.
on Spotify, on YouTube. Definitely check it out. We put a lot of time into that, and yeah, I need more people to see it.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, it's pretty funny. So we'll work to get that link out there. Aflocalypse. I'll have to look that up.
Did you find that, Scott?
The chickenswillrise.com.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that it? Yeah, I'll put it in the chat.
Chickenswillrise.com. Perfect.
Oh, that's great.
And I'll add both those links to the description in the YouTube video too.
Cool.
Perfect. That's excellent. That was a lot of fun. Thanks, guys.
All right. Well, that's us for this week of COGG. Thank you so much again, and thank you to any of you watching, and we will catch you all next month. We do have our regularly scheduled game dev meetup is the last Saturday in August, which, Wes, do you know offhand what the date is? Is that this coming Saturday?
That's actually, yep.
Yeah.
So the 28th from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. We'll all be online, just like we were saying for every event for this month. So we'll start at 1 and have a lot of fun. Yeah, so join that. That's going to have like where we give like the state of the industry, usually some presenters or whatnot. A lot of good news stuff. So really good like touch point for anybody that's looking for what game development's happening in the Central Ohio area. So yeah, don't miss it. We'll be here on YouTube, and we'll catch you there too.
Right. Well, bye everyone. Cheers.
All right.
Thanks.
Have a good weekend.